Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. My videos are about love, infinity, creation, energy, because we're infinite love, infinite creation, infinite energy. This is who we are. This is our nature. I always talk about this in my videos because this is our nature. This is the truth. This is objective reality. We're a beautiful species. We're a benevolent species. We're a heartful species, a heart-based species, a love-based species. All thanks to the primordial instinct, the instinct to live, the instinct to exist, and that is the human heartbeat. The pulse of life, the pulse of creation. It generates the electromagnetic field that surrounds the human body, powers all the systems, so we can think, conscious and self-aware, and we're sentient, most importantly. So we have emotions and feelings. It's beautiful who we are, our nature, infinity itself, the singularity of the human heartbeat, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation. Please refer to my previous videos, always, so you can map everything out and connect the dots and understand the notions behind my ideas. Objective reality. Okay, so let's talk about today's video. It's a shape. You can always visit it on the website and understand the visual, see the visual for what it is, because all my talks, all my conversations are simply the description at length of the visuals of my book. I have written a visual book, Fantasies and Illusions, Compass, The Quest for Free Will, and this book is essentially that. It's a visual book, and the way you think about it, each visual represents a page of the book, okay? And essentially, shape is one of the pages of the book, it's one of the visuals. It's a visual book, and it has its texts in it, in the visuals as well, explaining the visuals. But then, as a complement to that, I make the videos so you can fill in the gaps and understand what I mean by those visuals and explain myself, my concepts, my notions, which are not mine. They're part of infinity because this is who we are. All of us, objective reality, truth, all of us. Okay, in this case, you can go to y.how/shape. That's y.how/shape. It's on Substack, it's on YouTube. Okay, so let's dive in. This is a beautiful video. Shapes. So it's what shapes us, it's what makes us, it's what forms us. The figures, the shapes, the forms that constitute who we are, And these shapes that constitute who we are geometric in nature. These are solids. They have volume. Just like us, we're solid and we have volume. And we're made out of shapes. We're made out of spheres. We're made out of forms, figures, that shape us into who we are, the human body. And existence itself, infinity itself, eternity itself is also shapes, is also figures, is also forms. And the foundational building blocks are the ones that I'm going to talk to you about today. The sphere is infinity itself, spherical energy. That's what infinity is, spherical energy, polarized and electromagnetic, with telemetry and electrogravitics. This is what it is. It's beautiful, with a singularity and an infinite number of them. Please refer to my previous videos, because today is essentially the notions of these shapes, of this geometry, these figures, these volumes, these forms that build up as the building blocks, the organizing agents, space structure itself that gives us life. What space structure? Well, the space structure of the space within a sphere, the surface of the sphere and the space within it. Us, who we are, because we're spherical energy, the electromagnetic field of the human heart, pulse of life, the pulse of creation, the human heartbeat that powers the human body. It's a spherical electromagnetic field. And it has space within it, and we happen to be the space, geometrically speaking. Geometrically speaking, and we are the structure of the space itself, the biology of us, thanks to the DNA, who we are, the genome, the script, the code that gets shaped up into a biological form at this density of creation, and we are the structure of the space of our own sphere. And this is who we are, humans. And just if you think in terms of the sun, for example, the sun itself has its own structure, its space structure. And the space structure of the electromagnetic field of the sun itself, our nearest star, is that spherical energy that we see, creating elements that they had in that fusion reaction. Okay? Electrons, photons, coming together, escape velocity. And at this singularity, we have all these collisions happening, these particles, faster than the speed of light at that singularity, forming elements. And light comes as a result of that, hydrogen, helium, all this beautiful life that generates the densities here that we know as life and reality and existence at this level of scale. The Earth itself has its own space structure within its own electromagnetic field, and that's the Earth itself. That's this beautiful blue planet, our home, the Republic of Planet Earth, with all the support systems, everything that there is that. It's the space structure itself at that level of density of the electromagnetic field of it, its own spherical energy that generates everything for it to exist, the singularity itself. And this is replicable across infinity. And we can see this at all scales, at the galactical scale, the own singularity spewing out all that energy as the motions of spin take place due to gravitational forces, due to the tension of the surface of the electromagnetic field of the vacuum itself, of what vacuum? The spherical vacuum threshold that filled up as a result of what? The space within the biggest sphere, the universe itself, that creates a condition for what? For primal mover, for the galaxy itself to start spinning due to gravitational force field, due to the space curvature itself, due to the tension on the surface of that electromagnetic field of creation itself, the universe, the space within it that creates that, and then galaxies are formed, and then all those spherical vacuum thresholds within that biggest sphere, the galaxy itself has its own space and needs to be filled, and it generates all these singularities as a result of the prime mover, these gravitics, this telemetry, and then that leads to what? Formation of stars, and then at the biggest scale, the Big Bang, the universe as we call it, it's that big a singularity with its own space on the surface itself being filled up, the space structure that creates what? Galaxies. And then the universe itself is what? It's just a singularity within a bigger space structure, which is infinity itself, that creates an infinite number of universes as a result. And then again, space structure itself of the biggest sphere, which is infinity, the tension of the surface, it's all telemetry, it's all electrogravitics, wormholes of vortex, nodes, and singularities, that it's all of us, part of it, connected through quantum entanglement, and the system remains stable. So the tension of the surface keeps on feeding that gravitational force, space curvature itself, the tension of the sphere of infinity itself, keeps being fed by the singularities ourselves at all scales of creation, biological, terrestrial, astronomical, galactical, universal, you name it, to keep on creating infinities within and infinities without, new universes, new infinities forming endlessly, forever, eternity, because this is what infinity is. It's boundless, it's limitless, it's forever, it's endless, it's eternal, and we're part of it. And it's physical, and we are a shape, and it's a spherical shape that forms the space structure itself of that within that sphere, within that electromagnetic field, within that singularity, and that's us biologically speaking, thanks to the pulse of life, the pulse of creation, the human heartbeat that generates the conditions for our shape, the structure of our own space to exist, which is a human body. Okay, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. So let's talk about today's video, which is exactly that, is shapes. But the way I like to think about it is in terms of telemetric thinking. Telemetric thinking. Remember what telemetry is. Telemetry is readings, measurements. that come in the way of signals. And these signals are what? Pulses. That pulses, the resonance, their oscillation, they're themselves electromagnetic and polarized. Everything itself, thoughts, are currents, signals, signs. This is telemetric, meaning it can be measured and rate. Okay, and we ourselves and our singularity, human heartbeat itself, is telemetric in nature, and it's connected to infinity itself, quantum entanglement. So the system is decentralized and distributed, and this is why it's conscious and self-aware in the first place, and it's capable of creating through love because of that self-awareness. And the self-awareness that makes us conscious, infinity itself, love itself, creation itself, is capable of that because of the telemetrics generated at each, generated at each of the singularities, each of the vortexes, each of the wormholes, each of the nodes. Because remember, a sphere has an infinite number of points on the surface, and they're all connected. It's called quantum entanglement. And each of these signals, each of these pulses, each of these singularities, each of these oscillations generates a reading, a measurement, and that itself is telemetric in nature. And this is why the system is always self-aware and conscious, because it's all connected, and all the feedback loops, each infinity cycle, each singularity, every time that it pulses, because it's conscious and self-aware due to its nature, spherical nature, polarity and electromagnetism, self-reinforced, self-perpetuating, leads to what? To a reading, to a signal that gets fed back into what? The infinity itself. And that's why it learns, because it's the notions that all this creation, all this expansion, creation creates creators and creators create creations. All this creation that gets fed back into what? Infinity itself. So it's conscious and self-aware of what? Its creation and itself, as it continuously expanding to infinity, inward and outward, because it's a pulse. Pulse is that inward and outward expansion to infinity. So this is the nature of space itself, infinity itself, the structure of it, the sphere. The electromagnetic energy that comes as a result of the tension of its own surface, we'll call it gravity, space curvature, gravitational force field. That tension gets released within the sphere into spherical vacuum thresholds. That when the vacuum gets filled by the gravity itself, generates a vortex, just like water. You flash the drain, you flash the toilet, and then you see this vortex that generates, which is the motion of water itself, representing what? The curvature of space, the tension, the surface itself. And that motion is what fills the vacuum, the first mover, and then generates the polarity of that spherical vacuum, which is the electromagnetic field itself, that generates that singularity, the vortex itself, escape velocity, event horizon, the node, the wormhole, the vortex, that is self-reinforcing because that gravity contained on the surface keeps on feeding back into it because of the feedback loops mechanisms due to the web of infinity, the quantum entanglement, the network itself that keeps on feeding back into itself. And the energy continues, and new singularities and new infinities emerge as a result of each of those vacuum thresholds that are met, all spherical in nature. Because the sphere is a perfect figure, the perfect shape, because it's polarized and electromagnetic. And gravity can spin it, and then telemetry and electrogravitics are the phenomena that result as a byproduct of its motion. Okay, and this is what we call consciousness and self-awareness. This is what we call infinity, what we call love, ability to create. Okay, and this is why the system is self-conscious and stable and conscious and self-aware, because because to be conscious you need to be self-aware that you exist. And this is what the feedback loop is: learning, self-learning. You understand that you exist, and that's consciousness as a result of self-awareness, and that is love, that is infinity. And in our case, it's understanding infinity and that we're all connected, and that's what gives us that feedback loop that allows us to be conscious in the first place and self-aware and create through love, which is the energy of creation at the biological scale. Because the human heartbeat, the resonance of it can be measured, and it's the highest frequency that the human heart can generate. And why is it creation? Because the human heartbeat itself is a singularity that generates what? The space structure that we call biology, which is us, the human body. So we be conscious and self-aware of infinity and our nature, love. And because it's the love that generates the energy of creation, the highest frequency we create with our love powers the human body, body energy, heart energy, mind energy, true self energy coming together into compass, sundial. So we manifest our free will because we're conscious and self-aware through purposeful daily action, our love, the love for our creations. And we see at all scales of creation. We love our children. We make love. We have children, an instinct to love them. So we live to love and we love to live. You see, it's our nature. So I just wanted to make this intro so you understand where these shapes are, who we are, space structure itself at different levels of density. Us being the biological density, the human body. But we still have the singularity and the telemetric thinking that allows us, due to our own electrogravitics as a result of our creation itself, being created, so we can have consciousness and self-awareness. This consciousness and self-awareness is exactly that. It's love, it's infinity, it's creation itself. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because there are figures here representing this notion. How we put it together with our minds, because remember, we're thinking, capable of thinking. We're intelligence, okay? We're intelligence, highly intelligent because we're conscious and self-aware and infinite ourselves, infinite creator. So we're highly intelligent, we're extremely sophisticated, we're infinity at the biological scale, okay? This is the singularity that we are. Each one of us, each human with a human heartbeat, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation is exactly this, okay? Infinite creation, infinite love, infinite energy. Because our electromagnetic field is spherical energy. We're light spherical beings. And the space structure of this sphere is us, the biology of life, due to what? The genetic code, which is self-rendered as a result of the electricity itself. And it's us, biology. Aye. Okay. We made that clear. And I'll talk about the spheres and the thinking that we need to have as conscious and self-aware, sentient beings with love and emotions. So we understand who we are, but I want to do some reading before. And all these notions is called telemetric thinking. Telemetric thinking because these signals, and signals can be measured and read as singularities that we are. It's telemetric thinking because remember, in the end, we're conscious of who we are because we can think. And because we can think, we can be self-aware. And because we are self-aware, we are conscious. And because we're conscious, we understand infinity. And because we know what infinity is, we know that infinity is love. And we are infinity ourselves. And it comes full circle, spherical in nature. So we understand that. And that is the telemetry of infinity itself. Telemetric thinking, the feedback loop of creation itself, making us conscious and self-aware in the first place, capable of loving because it's energy itself, and understanding infinity that we are it and it is the creator, and we are the creator itself at the biological scale because it's all connected, it's all part of infinity, it's quantum entanglement, all these electrogravitics, all this telemetric thinking happens as a result of what? Motion itself, of existence itself, the web of creation, the web of infinity, us being a singularity within the node. Okay? So this is what it is. Okay, telemetric thinking, let's dive into it. So greenfielding white spaces, I beg your pardon, let me start again. So greenfielding white spaces at your energy prime time. So remember, we're conscious and self-aware, we exist, we're alive. We're infinity ourselves, we love, but we're conscious and self-aware as a biological organism. Us, the individual, with free will, compass, sundial, okay? So then again, greenfield and white spaces at your energy prime time. Each of us, with our consciousness and self-awareness, our free will, identity and true self, creating, with our purpose, with our why, infinity itself. Okay, we choose our creations. Creation creates creators and creators create creations because that's in decentralized and distributed nature of infinity itself. Infinite coordinates, infinite telemetry across the surface of the sphere itself, which is infinity itself. And it's infinite creation, which we are the result of it, okay? So that's white spaces. And what I have spoken about this concept multiple times. So what's a white space? What's white space? Well, white space is our ability to understand why and its infinity and create it. We have a vision, we have a dream of a creation, an idea, and then that idea, we create it with our purposeful daily action, with our energy levels, time and energy, with our flow, compass itself. Identity and true self leads to purpose, purpose leads to time and energy and action, purposeful daily action, why, how, which is a mechanism of creation itself, infinity itself, manifesting infinity itself through that mechanism, the recalibrating mechanism of compass, who we are, spherical in nature, leading to flow, which is energy and emotions, actions, movement, stimulation. True north, which is on the path, on the way of what? Creation, our dream being manifested, our vision of ourselves. And then destination, the dream coming true, the creation coming true, the purpose, the goal. Okay? So this is what I mean by white spaces. White spaces is the why that we choose as conscious and self-aware. Okay? We are conscious and self-aware. We're thinking. Okay? Capable of that. Understanding infinity. This is why we understand infinity and we know we're infinity, because we can ask why, which is the root of things. Why is always the root, is the origin, is the source, is the genesis. The because, the reason, the of. The because of, the reason, the why itself is that infinity itself, because it has no end. It goes to eternity, because infinity itself is eternity. It meets all the attributes of the definition of infinity in a word, the language that we give it over thinking brains, conscious and self-awareness, and is a term, the value, why. Okay, infinite in nature, spherical, like everything. But that is the definition itself, because it's the root, the origin, the source, and the creator created us, so he came before us, so it's the root. Okay, and because the creator is infinity, it's an infinite number of whys, infinite number of roots, infinite number of reasons, infinite number of causations, infinite number of casualities, infinite number of genesis, infinite number of sources, because infinity itself is that. But we can map it out, biologically speaking, in a physical way as we are shapes, and that shape is the sphere. Electromagnetic and polarity. Electromagnetic sphere, spherical energy, and the best way to think of it is the sun, spherical energy that created everything. So that's it. That's the best example that we have to understand it. But that goes to infinity, because the sun is not the only one. It's an infinite number of them. Hands, right there in our face. The earth itself is spherical. Our eye is spherical, it's all connected. Okay, so that's telemetric thinking, okay? So white spaces is that, is creation itself, is the why, is what we create. The white space, the empty canvas that we create. Our imagination, our creativity, which was yesterday's video, creativity. Okay, our imagination, our thoughts, our visions of ourselves, or our dreams, our ideas. This is what the white space is the idea, the why, that then we, with our true self, we guiding us, we create it with purposeful daily action. And our dreams come true, our purpose comes true, we manifest it. We manifest our free will, we manifest our purpose, we manifest our dreams. We manifest everything as a result of what? Understanding infinity itself, which is this white space. It's called space, which is the curvature, space curvature itself, gravitational force field itself, the tension of the surface of the sphere, generating the first mover as if it gets released into vacuum thresholds, spherical vacuum thresholds. And that is what? It's feeling what? The space structure of what? The space of the sphere, within the sphere. In a circle, the circumference, within it. It was inside space itself. Okay, structure of it. And it's everything. And a sphere is the infinite number of spheres, so it's an infinite number of space. Okay. And white space is that. It's the singularity itself, the creation. Thinking of infinity, why ourselves, our pulse of life, our pulse of creation, our human heartbeat, giving us consciousness of awareness, allowing us to think as creators. So when we think, we ask why, and then itself, we manifest ideas, creativity, infinity itself, dreams of ourselves, and that is why space. The new space that we're creating is that new singularity that we're creating, that we're feeling that spherical vacuum threshold, and we create it with our thoughts, which are energy in the first place, and our actions is energy, is motion, is flow, emotions, creating it, love. So you see, it's all spherical in nature. White space is that. The white space is the empty canvas, infinity itself. And we fill it up with what? With our ideas, with our creations, purposeful daily action, destinations, compass as we are, sundials as we are. We open the portal, we build the bridge, stare at the sun, open our hearts. The electromagnetic field of our heart and our body syncs with the electromagnetic field of the sun consciously, because they're already connected. But if you're not aware of it, you're not aware of it. But because we're conscious and self-aware, now we're actively engaged and actively conscious about it. And when we build the bridge consciously, then the light of the sun comes through our eyes and we evolve and supercharge our code, our genetic code, and our brains are more capable, our hearts are more capable, our bodies are more capable of what? White spaces, new creations, love, infinite energy. We evolve and we become more light spherical beings, higher creators, because energy itself, the sun, spherical energy, it's making us more capable of creating more things, because we're supercharging us and we're evolving through our eyes by opening the portal and building the bridge. Okay? So this is what it is. This is why we're sundials, spherical in nature, just like our eyes are spherical. The electromagnetic field of our body is spherical. The electromagnetic field of our brain is spherical. Our brain's kind of spherical. Our heart's kind of spherical, physically speaking. But because it's created, because it's a space structure of what? The electromagnetic field that created it in the first place. Hey, the biology itself, the readings, hey, the script of the DNA being read in that shape. Okay? This is what it is. This is infinity itself. And this is what white space is. And green fielding is that notion of a field itself of creation, force field of creation itself, the tension of the surface, gets filled up and it starts to create. And that field, is green, it's green, meaning green field means, it's new stuff we can create, it's fresh, we create, So green field in white spaces means exactly that, we are creating everything, Green field in white spaces is that. Creating from scratch, and it comes from the creator ourselves, being infinity ourselves, connected with infinity self, giving us the why, the vision, the dream, the purpose, the goal, the calling, the opportunity, the idea, the creativity, the creation, the imagination, invention, technology, whatever you want to call it, craft, music, art, doesn't really matter. This is what it is, and we create. So we're infilling white spaces, This is a notion, telemetric thinking. And what is this? Well, you do this at your energy prime time, because we're energy in the end, biological energy, biochemical. So we have days, I have spoken this about this at length, body energy, heart energy, mind energy, true self energy, the fundamental energy sources. And the day has its own timing, its own relativity, based on what? The transition of the sun, the rotation of the earth, around the sun, because the earth rotates around the sun because of the orbit, due to the what? The spin. And that spin is generated due to what? Space itself, the curvature of space of what? The tension of the surface of what? The electromagnetic field of what? The sun. Creating all this tension, this gravitational force that creates what? Spin. That does what? The earth rotates as a result of what? Its own electromagnetic field that is created as what? As a result of what? The energy of what? The electromagnetic field that spews energy out of what? The sun itself. So all these gravitics creates a tension on the surface of the earth that rotates around what? Space curvature. Gravitational force field itself of what? Space of what? The big sphere, which is what? What we call space. And where is that space? The solar system. And where is that solar system in a galaxy? So is that gravitational space force that moves it across what? Infinity itself, which is what? Space itself, which is what? Within a sphere, which is, you get it, So that's the movement. But because the bigger object that created the earth in the first place is the sun, then the orbit of it, this orbit is around what? That bigger electromagnetic field, that bigger tension. So it goes around it. Around the what? The surface of that sphere. The tension of it is beautiful. It's creation itself. It's what gravity is. Gravitational force field is exactly that. Gravitational force field is exactly that. Okay? It's exactly that. It's the tension on the surface of a big sphere. In this case, and the space and the vacuums that fills within it, and all the singularities that generate what? That spin that creates what? The gravitics, electrogravitics that create what? Motions, telemetry. So it rotates and the orbit moves around it. It's infinite, it's spherical in nature. This is electrogravitics, electromagnetism, polarity of the sphere, because the earth is a sphere. It moves across that space, within what? Space structure itself of what? That big sphere, which is what? The galaxy, The solar system, the sun, moves around the sun. And the sun moves around what? The galaxy, And the galaxy moves around what? The universe, And the universe moves around what? Infinity itself, because of its own gravitational pull. The surface of the tension, creating the spin, creating the motions. Everything coming together, feeling those thresholds. And then that's the singularity. So it's the singularity itself, the telemetry of it, the electrogravitics, the wormhole, the vortex, the node, the event horizon, everything happening at the heart, everything connected. And it's all moving, all motion, because the sphere itself is moving, infinity itself. Different scales of creation, obviously. Different scales, different perspectives, different relativities. Still there, it's motion, spin, it's oscillation, it's pulse. Okay, so that's exactly what it is, because we're that. So it's what greenfield and white spaces at your energy prime time, because we're energy ourselves. We're alive. We have days. It's rotation of the planets, day and night. We sleep. We rest. Fundamental energy sources. And then, of course, we have in the day, as sundials, the energy, we activate ourselves and we operate, because we're energy ourselves. And we do things. And there's a notion that we call prime time, which is the best time to do what? Well, create, purposeful daily action here and now. And we choose our creations, greenfield and white spaces, because we're conscious and self-aware. Our why is chosen by us, the identity and the true self, the individual, the creator that is conscious and self-aware. So we choose our creation. Okay, so we choose that. And ideally, you're supposed to create the most beautiful things with your highest energy of the law whenever you have the highest level of energy, which is when your heart tells you. This is the moment, here and now. And it tends to be here and now. Here and now is always the best moment. Once you understand these notions, here and now is always the best moment. Because here and now is the only moment, I have spoken about this many times, what it means, what it is. So energy itself loves here and now because it's the only moment that exists. It's the singularity itself. It's understanding the human heartbeat, the pulse. This is all it is, the pulse that gives us life in the first place, consciousness and self-awareness. So when we understand this and we operate in the here and now, then again, we start to take action immediately here and now, like I am making this video. So you understand these notions, reality, self-objective reality, truth. And then you start, creating a greenfield and white spaces like I am. Like I am. Okay. So, but you are also the same as me. You're also singularity, You're also an event horizon. You have a human heartbeat. You have a pulse of life, the pulse of creation. You're infinite yourself. You're infinite energy, infinite love. It's all humans. This is not me only. It's all of us, the human race, benevolent species, pure heart, pure love. Okay, so this is what this is. Greenfield and white spaces at your energy prime time. So then again, humans are a purpose-driven species. Yes, we are. Because the purpose of life is a life of purpose. A purpose of life. We live to love and we love to live. That's why we have a human heart and we follow our hearts. Because our heart, the instinct to live comes from the human heartbeat. And then love comes from the heart and it's the highest frequency that generates the heart. So obviously we exist to love because we love our creations. We love ourselves. We love others and we love their creations. And we love our children. We make love so we have children. And our instinct to love them. And then it's an endless cycle, as you see, it's creation itself. So our purpose is to love, to create. Because this is our nature. We're infinite energy, infinite creation, infinite love. So we are purpose-driven species. We are created by infinity itself through the DNA to create. To understand that we're infinite creators and just create as infinite eternal creators, as sundials and compasses. This is why we're spherical in nature, because we're compasses. So we are. So then again, humans are a purpose-driven species because we're conscious and self-aware and infinite love, infinite creation. And we're built for that purpose, which is to create because we're infinite, We're built for that purpose. So humans are a purpose-driven species. We're built for purpose. And our purpose is to have purposeful lives. So we feel good, It's about feeling good. It's about signs and signals from our inner voice, our heart. We follow our heart. So it's the love that we have for ourselves, the love we have for our children, the love we have for others, the love we have for our creations, and the love we have for everything, really. Love all with all your heart, with all your might. So the more you love, the more you create. So you create, and look at me, my creations are exactly that. It's infinite love, just manifested, through purposeful daily action. Because I'm purposefully built, on purpose by infinity itself, which is purposeful. Infinity itself is purposeful because it's creation itself, the energy itself is spherical in nature. It's a purposeful thing. It's creating, it's organizing agent of creation at different scales. Infinite, decentralized and distributed across infinity itself, creating singularities that are all connected to telemetry and electrogravitics at the surface of the original sphere, which is endless really, because there's no original sphere anymore because it's infinite. So it's an infinite number of original spheres, Infinite number of genesis, infinite number of creations, infinite number of everything. Okay, this is what it is. So we're built for purpose. And we're purposefully built. Purposefully built for that specific purpose. That is our purpose. So when I read it in full, humans are a purpose-driven species. We're built for purpose. We're purposefully built. This is our purpose. Purpose is that to create, to love. We live to love and we love to live. This is why we're benevolent species. This is why we're heart-based species. This is why we love-based species. This is why the human heart gives us life. And this is why love comes from the heart. So we understand this notion that we live to love and we love to live, and then we create with a human heart, with a human energy. This is what gives us life in the first place. Space structure of our own sphere, pulse of life, the pulse of creation, the electromagnetic field is biology, is us, the human body. So we create, biologically speaking, humans by making love and loving them, and also creations, ideas, what I'm talking about, telemetric thinking, our creations, as proud creators that we are. Okay, because nature is very proud of the creations that it does. That's why it does it, So then we are proud as well, because we are creating infinity itself. Because everything is connected and everything is red and it's constant. It's live. The system is always live. It's distributed and decentralized, always live. Every pulse feeds back to infinity itself, and it self-learns, self-conscious, and self-aware at all scales. Okay, so let's talk about this. And I have 3 figures here, 3 building blocks. Let's start with the square, because the square is that idea. Square is this equilibrium, equilateral. All faces of all faces of the square, they're all equal. Okay, and it has volume, and you can think of it as a box. And outside the box ideas is exactly this. Is greenfield and white spaces, telemetric thinking. That's why I use the cube purposefully. The square, the cube. The square is a 2-dimensional one. The cube is a 3-dimensional one. So the cube is that, it's a box, and it's outside the box ideas, outside the box thinking. Why itself, all these dreams, all these visions of ourselves. Remember, the visions drive the mission. Infinity itself, creation itself, opportunities, our calling, our purpose is that. Is why it's infinity. It's outside the box ideas. Outside the box, outside the cube, comes from that figure. It's this notion that we have. And because it comes out of the box, means out of infinity itself, out of our imagination, out of our creativity, we ought to create greenfield and white spaces is that, outside the box ideas, new creation, new infinities, new purpose, new dreams. Each of us. And then that leads to triangulation, which is this other sphere, this other shape I meant. It's solid and volume. I mean, in 2 dimensions is the triangle, but if you think in 3-dimensional terms, it becomes solid, it solidifies, it has volume, and then it becomes the tetrahedron. 4 equal faces or sides. Okay, equilateral, equilibrium, and then again that is triangulation. In terms of ideas, if you think in terms of telemetric thinking, is the telemetry of it is triangulation, meaning you triangulate your outside the box ideas, and you make sure that they are objective reality, their infinity, their truth. By what? By observing natural phenomena, by observing occurrence, by making sure that you triangulate, meaning you have multiple data sources, telemetry, the electrogravitics of everything. So you understand the triangulation. So you triangulate all the different coordinates, all the different points with all the data sets, other ideas that other humans put out there. We call it, creations. All these ideas, all these different notions, and put them together and triangulate to make sure that if they all relate, meaning they all have a 0-point source of origin, and they all are met. And there is a singularity in that triangulation. If your outside the box idea meets the requirements, then you understand that this triangulation is accurate. I mean, you have to create it because it's observance. It's observable, it's phenomena, and it's infinity itself. So you have to manifest the greenfield white spaces, meaning you create that idea, you create that notion by purposeful daily action. You make your dreams come true, okay? And then that leads to what? Well, spherical logic, spherical thinking, meaning a perfect idea, full set of information, full idea, full information, complete information, spherical, infinity itself. So it's based on what? Objective reality. It's based on what? Truth. It's based on what? Natural occurrence, natural phenomena, repeatable across the board like us. We all have a heartbeat, so we know it's a natural occurrence, it's phenomena, so it's objective truth. It's objective reality. Okay, it's truth. And this is what spherical thinking is. It's understanding this, infinity itself, and when infinity itself comes full circle, outside the box ideas, after triangulation, spherical logic is there, full information, full circle, complete information, then you understand that this idea is an emotion that you must manifest, you must create with purposeful daily action. Why? How manifest infinity? For that very reason, because it's infinity itself. And we as conscious and self-aware and loving can do that, just to create. Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my mind. With spherical logic, we're telemetric thinkers. This is who we are. We're the leaders of the Republic of Planet Earth. We're the citizenry of the Republic of Planet Earth. We're infinite. This is who we are. Infinite love, infinite energy, infinite creation. We're compasses, we're sundials. We're benevolent species, love-based, heart-based. So we are a heartful species. with the defenders of the Republic of Earth, the leaders of the Republic of Earth. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might.